Are you a pastor wondering how to grow giving in your church and activate non-givers or low-frequency givers? Well, you're in the right place because today I'll be sharing 3 things pastors can learn from nonprofits and how to raise money for your church in this episode of the More Than a Pastor Show. Let's get started. Hello, my friend. Welcome to the More Than a Pastor Show. I'm Rich Avery, your host. This is a show where we help pastors, missionaries, and other ministry leaders to grow your income and build financial security. We'll help you take your skills, experiences, and ministry know-how and leverage them into sustainable income outside the church through a business or side hustle that's right for you so you can serve God and provide for your family no matter what. Hey, thanks so much for joining me today. It's always a pleasure to be with you. Appreciate the time we can spend together. If you're new to the show, you can learn more about me, get the show notes for today's episode, and download some free resources to help you grow your income and build financial security. It's all over at my website at morethanapastor.com/74 for episode 74. Hey, have you noticed that the traditional church funding model of receiving tithes and offerings on a regular basis from your members is rapidly declining for many churches? How's it been for your church? A lot of pastors I speak with, at least recently, say it's getting harder and harder to activate new attenders and turn them into regular givers, especially like young people, young families, but really it's been across the board. So many people that were regular givers aren't giving anymore or aren't part of the church anymore, and the new people coming into the church aren't in the habit of giving, and it seems to be taking a long time to activate people as consistent givers in their church. And I think it's just true. It's just a fact that in America right now, so many people have become skeptical of churches and religious leaders for a lot of the reasons I've shared here in previous episodes. I won't go into them right now. Some are calling this era we're in the great de-churching of America. So many people are leaving church or being less active in church and definitely have checked out with their pocketbook and are not part of the church anymore in terms of their giving. There are some people in our churches that just don't trust the church or pastors, and there are certainly some that just don't trust God with their finances either. And so a lot of people are not in the habit of giving right now or giving regularly to churches, or especially at like a 10% level that many churches had grown accustomed to a generation or two before. And people also are skeptical of how churches will handle their donations. They maybe are interested in giving. They have a heart that wants to give, but they're just not sure. Can they trust the church today? They've heard so many stories about other churches or pastors who have mishandled resources, who have misused money for their own personal gain as well. And so people are, in a lot of places, are skeptical today. Not sure how it is in your community or in your church, or if you're seeing those same signs or not. But young people today also, I find this interesting to be a father of young adult children. I'm interested that a lot of young people today don't like giving to the general fund of a church because they don't want to give to overhead. And unfortunately, some people see pastors' salaries or church facility budgets as overhead, and they don't want to give to those things. They want to give to the mission. They want to give to programs that make a difference or to help meet community needs or missions around the world. They don't want to give to the overhead sorts of things that they perceive is coming through the general fund. So how can pastors and churches engage the hearts of new attenders or younger generations today and invite them to give to their church in a way that aligns more with their personal values and their interests in giving? Well, I think there are many lessons that churches can learn today from the nonprofit or the NGO world in how to engage new donors and younger donors. To be clear, I know that churches in the U.S. typically have nonprofit status with the IRS, so a church is a nonprofit. But the way most churches traditionally have funded their ministries through tithes and offerings from a captive audience, if you will, from the members of the church or the regular attenders, that's very different than how most nonprofits generate their funding. And I've had the privilege over my 30-year career thus far to have worked in both the nonprofit and in the church worlds. And I'm thinking that more and more churches could benefit from some of the funding methods that nonprofits are using. So today I want to share 3 things that I think pastors can learn from nonprofits to help grow giving in your church. Number 1, micro giving, or some people call that micro philanthropy. And what I'm talking about here are small gift amounts that help to begin a relationship with a person or get them in the habit of giving. And so a lot of nonprofits today, we see them asking for small amounts, like, can you give $5? Can you give $7? Can you give $9 a month? Can you give a one-time gift in this area? And it's an amount that's so small that it's so easy for a person to say yes. They don't even have to think about it. There's nothing in their mind that says, no, I don't want to give. They just give because it's such an easy yes. A lot of times we see this in like sales and marketing too. For example, if I have a amazing product or course on my website and it's worth like $200-$300, but I offer it to you for just $7, you're going to say, wow, it's such an amazing thing. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to go ahead and pay the $7 because the value is so great. My gift amount is so small. It makes sense. I don't even have to think about it. And so that's the same kind of thinking here with micro giving. And hear me out. I'm not saying that we're trying to manipulate people. I'm just saying that there's a psychology about it. If you've got someone who is not giving or not interested in giving or is a very infrequent giver, are you going to ask them for a $1,000 gift? No, probably not. But you can ask them for a $9 gift or a $20 gift. Invite them to give to something where the amount is so small, it's an easy yes, and it maybe just helps open their heart to want to give on a more regular basis. And especially as they give, maybe it's to a children's program or for a special missions fund to send the youth on a missions trip somewhere or to help with a missionary or a community need. Invite them to give to something that is not an overhead sort of a thing, but something that can touch their heart, that is like a mission-driven sort of a thing. And it's an easier yes for people. And again, there's something psychological about that when people say yes to something one time, it's more easy for them to say yes again. And so if you can help them to say yes to an invitation to give a small amount to meet a tangible need in the community or in your church family or in the world, they might be have more of a propensity to give again, another gift and another gift. But of course, that comes with being able to nurture them and to grow the relationship with them and to show them and prove to them that their giving, even at that small amount, actually made a difference in someone else's life. And so inviting people to micro giving is an opportunity for them to say yes and to be able to build a relationship and to build upon that one small, tiny gift that could help to grow into something else over time. And I really want to talk later in point number 3 about how we can nurture the relationship with our new givers. But we'll talk more about that here in just a moment. So that was number 1, micro giving. Number 2 is a monthly giving community. Most every nonprofit today has a monthly giving community, or some call it like a members club, where they try to turn one-time donors into regular monthly givers. You might have seen ads on TV asking you to give to St. Jude's Children's Hospital for $25, $30 a month to help a child that needs a life-saving surgery, or give $11 a month to the Tunnel to Towers Foundation to provide a new home for a wounded veteran. Monthly giving clubs are so powerful today because they can activate new donors, and they can also turn one-time or low-frequency donors into regular monthly givers. I'm starting to hear of churches employing a monthly giving community model, and I think it's a great idea. Instead of, giving a general invitation from the pulpit to give to the general fund, invite people to join our community of monthly givers whose support helps us make a difference in our community and in our world. Just reorienting from general fund to monthly giving community, that language just might be helpful because it implies that we are a community, that everyone can give something to be part of the community. And for most of us, we are in a monthly payment sort of existence, right? We have a monthly car payment or mortgage payment or insurance payment or telephone payment or TV payment. almost everything we pay is a monthly payment. And so for some churches, they're kind of picking up on that and saying, why don't we invite people to give monthly to the church and just make that a part of their regular monthly routine? Again, you might have mature givers that give every week and they give their 10% or more, and that's amazing. But if you've got non-givers or low propensity givers, this might be a great way to activate them and invite them to just give monthly and to just begin that relationship, which again, you can nurture and grow over time. And that brings me to point number 3, a personalized nurture campaign. In the past, for generations, pastors could make the invitation to give in general to the whole congregation, and people gave. And people decided, I'm going to give 10% or more or less, whatever. But that was a common thing that we made the all call. But I wonder if we're in a season now where people want more targeted or individualized asks or invitations. And some, even I've had a few pastors say, I'm not really sure it's worth it to have the offering moment or to pass the offering plate anymore because it's not activating the new people. It's become so routine that it doesn't make an impact for people anymore. And to me, I think there's ways to make the offering moment in the service more meaningful. I want to talk more about that in future episodes. But in general, people are questioning and wondering, does it really make sense to do the all call general invitation? Or should we have more specific targeted invitations that are maybe more personal in nature to invite people to give specific amounts? And so here's what I mean by this. So like if you are, well, think back to if you've been a church planter, or maybe you haven't, but maybe you know how church plants work. If you're starting to plant a church, you come into a community and you begin to identify who are some key people I can build relationships with and maybe have them be part of my launch team and maybe invite them to give. And so you're building relationships. You're speaking to your current contacts that you have, and you're trying to meet new people in the community, and you're sharing the vision, and you're asking them to give. Could you be a part of this? Could you make a 3-year commitment or a 1-year commitment or 5-year commitment to be a part of this to help make it possible? And could you give at this level? So see what I'm saying? It's a personal connection. It's a personal relationship, and you're making a personal ask. And sometimes these are done literally in person. Other times it could be done via email or via mail or texting. And so what I'm saying is this might be an era or a season where we need to be more personalized in our approach to connect with non-donors, people that have been part of our church but haven't been givers. If we're not having a personal relationship with them and getting to know them and seeing what's going on and how we can support or encourage them or how to invite them into the life of the church more, then I think we're missing something. So look for ways to build that personal connection. And if it's not even in person, there's ways to do it via mail, via email, to still be personalized, not like a general all call to everyone in the church, but to invite people to give towards specific things that can, again, help them to take a step, help them to move forward in their giving, to maybe allow God to help them grow their heart for the church and the mission of the church, that can help them to grow into becoming more regular or more sustaining givers in your church. And then I think as people become a giver or a donor, then you want to nurture that. You want to thank them. You want to encourage them in their giving. And I just think a lot of churches have missed that. Maybe once a year we send out the donation thank you letter, or maybe quarterly we do a giving report. But I think if we're more regular, a lot of nonprofits, every time someone gives a gift, a thank you goes out. And we might need to be in that kind of a season where we're more tangible in our appreciation and in our thanks, and we're helping to feed people and grow their hearts on a more regular basis than what we think might be coming across to them via the 2-minute offering moment or, our once a year or quarterly letter that we send out to thank them for their giving. So I think there's more that can be done to help make invitations to give, and then to follow up on those invitations, or to help grow and nurture that relationship with people as they become first-time givers, and to nurture that into more frequent givers and then sustaining givers who can give on a monthly or even more regular basis. So 3 things I think churches can learn from nonprofits: micro-giving, monthly giving communities, and a more personalized nurture campaign. Hey, if you're already using any of these methods in your church, I'd love to know about it and how it's going for you. Would you do me a favor and let me know? Or if these are new ideas to you, but you think, I think I want to try one of these or all of these, I'd love to know that as well. Or if you say, Rich, I think you're on the wrong track. I don't know why you're coming up with these crazy ideas. Hey, let me know that as well. I'd love to just get any feedback from you to learn how it's going and how I can come alongside and support and encourage you to grow your giving in your church. You can email me at rich@morethanapastor.com. Well, that's it for today's show. Thanks for joining me today. And if you want to check out the blog post for this episode, you can go to morethanapastor.com/74 for episode 74. Also, if you're listening to the podcast, maybe you don't know that I record these as videos, and almost all my podcast episodes are on YouTube. And you can go to morethanapastor.com/74 and find the YouTube link if you want to watch and subscribe to my YouTube channel as well. I would invite you to do that. I hope this episode has been helpful to you. Maybe it's been something that triggered a good thought and you want to share it with your team. Share it with other people. I'd invite you to let people know about this podcast, this episode, or our show. Help us spread the word, and so that more people can learn about the resources we have here. And hopefully, we'd love to get your feedback as well and learn how we can provide more helpful resources to help you grow your giving in your church, maybe pursue alternative revenue streams outside traditional tithes and offerings, help you grow your personal income as well outside the church. Until next time, remember that you are more than a pastor. Saying yes to God's call doesn't mean you have to say yes to feeling stuck, broke, or unfulfilled in your life and ministry. Let's work together and help you create the life, impact, and income that you were made for.